Howdy folks, welcome back to the old wood turning shop. We've done several videos where we made wing bowls, and we've showed the actual turning of the piece, and it dawned on me that we've never shown how the finish is applied. Now I get questions on how do I apply the finish. Some think it's sprayed on from a can, and the truth is that it's nothing that exotic. I simply use this product right here, and I take a piece of paper toweling and I fold it up into kind of an applicator, and I pour a little of the finish in here and apply that finish to this surface. Now this is a piece of hackberry, and I thought it actually turned out kind of nice. The turning is done. I've sanded it, and it has some bark on it, so it has some natural edge. Hackberry tends to be kind of tan or yellowish, and a lot of times it has some gray highlights through it, so it will finish kind of a tan or yellow. So to do that, I usually finish stuff on the lathe whenever I can. So I'll mount this on here. And I turn the speed down to the lowest speed that I can, because when I put wet stuff on here, if this is spinning, it tends to fog up my glasses, and gets my shirt all full of finish and stuff like that. So especially when you're working with a skeleton crew, you don't have anybody to help you clean up. So we hope we got everything set up here, and this is set to turn at about 250, closer to 200. This will be about the speed it turns. And actually, we'll only run the lathe as we finish the inside of the bowl here. So after we get it all sanded, cleaned up, we take a tack rag and we run over the surface to be finished, and wipe off any surface dust that might remain there. One thing I like about finishing on the lathe is the piece is held solid, and you don't have to try and prop it up with something. And if I'm only finishing one thing like I am today, I usually leave it just leave it chucked up here and let it dry, or until it gets at least dust-free dry, and then I'll take it off and set it somewhere. So with that, I've got the finish in here, and I take my little piece of this paper towel, dip it into the finish, and start the lathe and apply the finish that way. Shut off here and take a look at this thing. Now the first coat, it's going to really soak it up and sink in quick. So I usually apply some extra here to this area that I want to be sure and have a nice full coat, and then turn the lathe on and to sort of spread the finish out along there. So now we're going to do the wings here. This is kind of the fun part of the job. Pretty easy. Usually you get to see what the piece is going to look like, and if you've done a good job sanding it and clean the dust off, you usually end up with a nice piece. Now, the first coat will really soak in, and usually this takes 4 applications with the light sanding in between. And for the final one, normally I would mix this tung oil finish with some wipe-on poly. This finish is not, it doesn't finish really hard, and so a little better protection is to add some polyurethane to it, and so that will give it more of a gloss or a sheen. So this will be a short video, and if I was finishing multiple pieces, I would apply this finish and then probably using this, get a hold of the piece and carefully remove it from the lathe, and then set it off to the side to dry, and then usually I'd wait overnight and come back when it's dry and lightly sand this. Each coat that goes on is very thin. I don't know how thin, it's about the thickness of a human hair, but it's transparent and you can see through it, and so if I have a little left, I may apply another coat in here. So that pretty much covers what that's going to look like. To actually get the finish on, usually it takes me about 3 or 4 days, because some days I can get 2 coats on in one day if I put a coat on early in the morning and then one later in the afternoon or evening. But typically this will set now till Monday or Tuesday, and then I'll prepare the surface and apply another coat. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here again.